I love Doom. Simple as that. Well, no, quite as simple as that, obviously, because there's a whole review after this, but one of my earliest gaming memories I can remember is playing Doom 2 and being told to immediately uninstall it after driving a chainsaw straight through somebody's guts. Fortunately, I was allowed to reinstall it after myself and my father came to the conclusion that the forces of hell had to be twatted in the face with the biggest gun available. The beauty of Doom, well, 1 and 2 anyway, is that they are so delightfully simple. They're very quick, they're fast, they throw up fuck tons of enemies for you to deal with, and it's that brilliant formula that's entertained me and countless others for almost 20 years now. Doom 3, however, is a totally different kettle of demonic fish. Gone is the fast moving, frantic shooting in wide open spaces of Doom Uno and Duo, in favour of dark, cramped corridors filled with jump scares. I have to admit, when it first came out, I didn't play a huge amount of Doom 3. Like most other Scottish teenagers, I had recently discovered the wonders of heroin, glue and buckfast, and the idea of buying a game that might make me shit myself seemed ill-advised, because if anybody caught wind of that, I'd lose all the street cred I'd earned from the heroin and the glue. Only joking, I just didn't buy it, but if you thought that story was true, your stereotyping makes me sick, even if it is largely true of Scottish culture. So, what do I think about the game? I think it's alright. I don't think it's as good as Doom 1 and 2, it's not got that timeless feel to it, but it's still quite an entertaining game. What I'm going to try and focus on in this review is telling you what Doom 3 BFG Edition brings to the table that Doom 3 doesn't. This is where the review gets slightly more complicated, if you've managed to understand my accent so far. The original Doom 3, as far as I'm concerned, is a marvel of game design, there's no question about it. It was a brilliant showcase of how far games design had come in the 10 years since Doom 1 and 2. It was based on the ID Tech 4 engine and it pushed PCs so far at the time that it created Doom's most talked about game mechanic, the flashlight. Many people complained about the fact that you couldn't shine your light and hold your gun simultaneously. Some people said it made the game more tense and others said it ruined it. But it wasn't actually a feature ID had planned. It was simply implemented when PCs weren't powerful enough to render both muzzle flash and flashlight at the same time. I shit you not, it is literally that simple. They eventually released something called the duct tape mod, which allows you to carry your flashlight with you all the time whether you had a gun out or not. They've kind of carried that over to the BFG edition in the sense that you can equip your flashlight at any point. However, it does have a battery life and it wears down, so you can't run around with your flashlight on all the time, which as far as I'm concerned is probably the best compromise. So, what does BFG Edition give you for your money? Well, you get Doom 1, Doom 2 and Doom 3, plus the expansion pack Resurrection of Evil. If I was to pick one of the Doom 3 expansions as my favourite, I would probably have to pick Lost Levels. Although it was short, I enjoyed it the most because it was most like Doom 1 and 2. As much as I like Doom 1 and 2 and as nice as it is to see it included in the game, I personally don't need more copies of it. Fuck, now that I think about it, I actually remember I even had Doom 1 running on my graphics calculator at school. Yeah, how's that for a laid back approach to learning? I can understand including them from the point of view that there might be people out there that haven't played them, and I think that might actually be one of the main points of Doom 3 BFG Edition, is to kind of pull in new users. As much as I love Doom 1 and 2, I think it would have been cool to have seen them ported over to Doom 3's engine. I think it would have been quite a refreshing change for old school Doom players. I suppose as well the reason for including Doom 1 and 2 is the fact that Doom is nearly 20 years old. Blow your party horns if you've got them. That's not a metaphor, by the way. Personally, if you own Doom 3 already, I wouldn't say that BFG Edition is an essential purchase. For me, the well advertised graphics enhancements didn't make me jizz my pants. At the end of the day, it's still a 2003 game and they haven't even bothered updating the textures. The game does get a slight boost, however, in the lighting department, courtesy of some additions brought over from the Rage engine. Personally, to me, I don't think it looks much better than Quake 4, which came out just after Doom 3 and uses exactly the same engine. One thing I do have to give ID credit for in terms of enhancements is the fact that the game now runs at either a solid 60 or 120 frames per second. Jackpot. This is a brilliant addition because now the game is as smooth as Billy D. Williams. While I was playing through and recording the game, the frame rate never dropped once. Even when there was loads of characters on screen, I was shooting wildly like a mad bastard. Unless you buy the game, you're not going to get to witness this yourself because YouTube only supports 30 frames per second. Cheers for that, YouTube. Vimeo called and it says you're an arsehole. So, should you buy this game? One of the nice things is, if you have a shite computer by today's standards, and I don't mean a 486 or a fucking Pentium 3 or something like that, don't use my words against me, I mean like an old dual core or something like that, you can pretty much still run this game as it's got pretty low requirements, so that's nice if you want something to play. I personally would only buy the PC version, which you can pick up for about £13 or $20 if you're that way inclined. As far as horror shooters go, I think there's definitely better examples out there than Doom 3 BFG edition. I personally had more fun playing through Bioshock, for example. I did think it was just a more creative game. This might sound a bit cynical, but Doom 3 BFG edition seems to me a little bit like a way for ID to make more money for Doom 4. Fine by me, ID can have my money, because from what I've heard, Doom 4 is meant to be going back to the original Doom formula, and that is a win. Oh, just to quickly mention, by the way, ID have added 3D support to the game. Yep, I bet you were all desperately waiting for that, playing through a game that's dark as fuck with bloody sunglasses on. One last thing I would say is, if you're a console gamer, don't buy it. It's twice the price of the PC version, and I'm pretty sceptical it's going to look as wonderful as they say it does. Because a console gamer wouldn't know a high frame rate if it fucked their mum right in front of their faces, then patted them on the head on the way out the door. Oh, is that Calum taking a swipe at the state of current console gaming? Yep. Just one last thing before I go. I'm trying to put some feelers out there, not in a pervy way, but just to see if anyone else does the same things that I do. I have a slight habit while playing first person shooters of reloading all the time, even when I'm clearly in danger and don't need to reload. I just have this strange fixation about having a full magazine all the time. I don't think it's an OCD thing. No, it's not. It's definitely not an OCD thing at all. Right. Excuse me, I have to go and wash my hands with boiling water.